How's it going, guys? So in this video, I actually want to do a unboxing, or actually rather a review of a cycling headlight. Okay, so right in front of you is the KOM QRL01, which means quick release light 1000 lumen brightness. Okay, so this light, I believe, just came out on the market. And what's so special about the QRL01 is a couple of things. One, this is 1000 lumen light output, very, very bright. Second, this mounts directly on Garmin compatible devices. And if you are an avid cyclist and you do a lot of cycling, you probably have a Garmin Edge computer. And with that, you probably have a Garmin Edge mount. So this light, when you buy it, it mounts directly to your Garmin accessories. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you do not have a Garmin Edge computer or a Garmin Edge mount, you will have to buy that mount individually from either KOM or Garmin or any other manufacturers that makes Garmin Edge compatible mounts. So that's one thing to take note. And what's also special about this light is, now if you know that you have a Garmin Edge mount, that mount is usually fixed. So how do you adjust the angle of your flashlight if you mount it there, right? The cool thing about this light, the QRL01, is, check it out. How cool is this? It's a tiltable angle, head angle on this light. Okay, so that's another feature that I really, really like, because the fact that it is mounted on a fixed position. So those are the features that actually captured my impression when I was unboxing this light and doing the initial testing. And obviously after the indoor part, we're gonna actually go out and have a ride on my bicycle in my neighborhood during the nighttime, and to show you guys how bright this light is. Okay, just take my words for it. It's very, very bright. Couple things to take note, of course, before we go out, and I also want to do a quick comparison, is the light, even though it doesn't come with a Garmin Edge mount, it does come with quite a lot of accessories that's going to make this light a lot more versatile. Okay, if you don't have a Garmin Edge computer, if you have a Wahoo GPS cycling computer, no problem, because this light comes included with all the adapters necessary to convert this light to be fully Wahoo GPS mount compatible. Now, you notice on the top there is a mount for the Garmin Edge GPS. If you decide to mount this directly on top of the Garmin Edge mount, you also notice on the bottom there is a mount for you to mount something else. Now, if you have a GoPro, okay, your alternative would be mounting this onto the bottom of the Garmin Edge mount and then mount your GoPro below this. So you have a complete setup with the action camera facing outside. With this light, if you're riding in the evening time or even in the daytime, you want to, for safety purpose, turn the flash on, I would recommend have the flash on at all times. And on the top, of course, it mounts directly to the Garmin Edge mount. And on top of the Edge mount, you can mount your Garmin GPS. So there are multiple ways of configuring this, just because both top and bottom is fully convertible. And with those two devices, if you have a Wahoo GPS, you can mount this on a Wahoo GPS as well. So yeah, so two of the most popular GPS options, this light has you covered. All right. So besides the Wahoo compatible mount, it also provides another top mount adapter. Okay, so this thing, if you use the included hex wrench, you can remove the screws, put this one on here. And why they give you two, you ask? So this is to mount the Edge devices in a different direction. Okay, so this is a 90-degree. So think of your Edge device like this, but if you have the need or if you mount something on your handlebar on the stem, you have to probably tilt it 90 degrees, and they thought about that. They included a 90-degree angle adapter on the top, okay? You can't do that on the bottom, but I think this is still way more options than I need personally to get this light working with your existing Garmin/Wahoo setup. With that, it also comes with a lanyard, okay, in the box, a USB charger, USB-C charger, which is on my wall somewhere. I can show you. You got a screw, you got a hex wrench, and you got 3 screws to as either a backup or to do some sort of conversion for changing this into a Wahoo mount or a 90-degree mount on the top. And with that, also a incredibly useful user manual. Okay, so while I was doing the unboxing, I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to read user manual. I can just start playing around with it. But then it turns out this light has got more interesting functions than what I give it credit for. Okay, so after reading the user manual, I can tell you the battery life, because I never run out of the battery on my cycling lights. I always just charge it fully and go out, do a ride. They never dies, okay? The official figures for this, if you are running this at full brightness, 1000 lumens, you can get about 2 hours full usage out of 1000 lumen on this light. If you use this in medium setting, 600 lumens, you get 3.5 hours, which is plenty at 600 lumen, okay? And if you use this at 300 lumens, you get 7 hours, which is crazy, okay? This is, the battery life-wise, this light already impresses me quite a lot. And the reason I say that is because I have my 2 other lights, which I use for nighttime riding around the neighborhood. They're both from Cygolite, okay? So this is the Cygolite Experian. This light is 14 years old. Okay, very old light, still works great. 350 lumens. Okay, so not a bright light. The battery life on this 350 lumen on high only lasts for 2 hours. Okay, so on this 1000 QRL, 7 hours. Okay, so more than double the battery life. Okay, almost triple. Okay, this is the Metro 800, also from Cygolite. So 800 lumens, battery life on this, on 800 lumen boost, only 1 hour. Okay, so that just tells you why I was pleasantly surprised by the actual battery life in the 1000 from the KOM cycling. In terms of construction, okay, very well constructed, and it also looks very industrial and modern, very masculine, okay? I'm a guy, I love this design a lot, but if you're a lady, you like more curves, you know, one of those lights might fit you better. But just from a design point of, design perspective, this light looks great, If you look at the lens construction, okay, so it's got a light spread surrounding the edge area and a clear lens at the center. All right, so when we go out and do the night ride, you'll notice the pattern very distinctively. Okay, I'm going to show you the other light pattern. On the Experian, it's a full clear lens, and on the Metro, it's a completely diffused lens. So the pattern design really is a personal preference. If you have a clear lens on your light, you know that this light is going to be concentrated mostly in the center area. So if your main objective is a brighter light with a central concentration, the 350 actually, it looks as bright as the 800 in terms of the actual focused light, but you're going to miss a lot of coverage in the surrounding area. If you have a full diffuse at 800, you have about the same brightness as a 350 at certain areas, but you can see the more diffused area more clearly. So really there's a give and take, right, in terms of designs of those used individually. Now, what's cool about the KOM 1000 is it's got both diffused and a center. So compromised, best of both worlds, right? So you get a really bright center illumination, and you get some good coverage for the surrounding areas with a diffused illumination. All right. And again, I'm already impressed with this light after using it for a brief time. That's why I want to go back and sit on the desk and really talk about this light and things that I found out. You have the charge port at the bottom. Again, this light is waterproof IPX6 waterproof, which means any kind of splash of water, any kind of jet streams coming from this light, coming at this light, as long as you're not submerging this into the water, you're fine. Okay, don't submerge this in the water, but I doubt anybody's going to be swimming with this light, so you should be perfectly fine using this in normal riding conditions. All right. On the back, there is an area to screw it off. I believe the battery is probably hidden in here, and you can probably access some other stuff through the back access port. Otherwise, this light is sealed from the front to the back, including this little angle adjustment area. Now, in terms of long-term durability, I couldn't tell you much because I just literally received this light from KOM. So that has to be a separate video when I use this light in the long term. And now let's go into the function of the light. It's got, let's just actually use the manual so I can tell you those different functions. When you press it, okay. So when you press this button, power button on the right side, you press quickly, it shows you a blue light, which means the battery is at more than 60%. So battery is high. If this light becomes yellow color, you have about 20 to 60% of the battery, so medium battery life. If it's red, that means you have less than 20% of the battery life left on this light. So a built-in battery meter, really helpful. When you charge this, it's just going to be flashing red, and it's fully charged, it's going to turn solid blue. I don't know what the charging time is, but it's not that long, probably 1 to 2 hours. Quote me if I'm wrong. Now, if you need to turn it on, okay, so I'm going to long press. It turns the light on and stays at low setting. So this is low, okay. This is the medium, it's brighter. So twice the output. And now we're going to use 1000 lumen, okay. This is 1000, okay. Now, my camera automatically adjusts for the brightness, so you might not see much difference in terms of the brightness when viewed in the video. But trust me, even at 300 lumens, I can barely keep my eye staring on. Don't stare on any kinds of those lights. Even above 150 lumens, they are extremely bright. Okay, so this is the fourth mode, which is the always-on flashing mode, and they call this the low flash. In this mode, you get about 10 hours of use. Okay, so still plenty for the whole day of use on this light. And if you press again, it's SOS mode. So 3 long strobes, 3 short strobes, and alternating. You could use this as a nighttime flashing, but this will be confusing for people who might think you might need help. So not so much use for if you're not riding, if you're not outdoors using this as a handheld device. And the last mode is just a normal flash. It's like a random flashing pattern almost. In this random flashing pattern, 24 hours. Okay, quite a long time without having to charge it. And if you press again, it goes back to low. Now, if you long press, it turns the light off and it stays off. Now, one thing that I noticed is it does not save your previous used mode. So if you set to medium, or like if you set it to high, okay, and you turn it off and you turn it on, it's gonna go back to low. If like saving settings is something that you're really care about, this light might not be for you, but again, a minor inconvenience. But what they make up for it is really cool. Okay, so say I just turned on, this is low, medium, high. What if you want to go back to medium? You double click. Okay, what if you want to go back to low? You double click. So this, I think, makes up for that no memory saving function, right? It is, again, really convenient. My Metro has the memory saving function, so if I leave it at medium setting, next time I turn it on, it stays there, which is convenient. But I think in terms of this light's features, it really more than make up for that memory setting function. That's the only thing that I regret not having on this light. But other than that, I think this light is close to perfect, right? So I think we covered pretty much the feature set of this light, and the rest would be just testing this light out in the field, in the wild. Before I go, I want to just do a quick brightness test out of those three lights, turn up at, full on. Okay, so 350, this is 800, and this is 1000. And I'll just flash it really quickly in the video so you get an idea what those lights at maximum brightness is going to be. Okay, so let's see. So this is the 350 full boost with a clear lens. Okay, this is 800 with a diffuse light. Okay, and let's turn this on. Medium, high. This is high, 1000. Okay, so let's just flash those lights really quick in front of the camera and see what the camera can detect. Okay. So now immediately, if I point it somewhere else, you can see the brightness difference. Okay. The 350 is definitely weak. The 800 and 1000 very comparable actually, but if you see it with your naked eye, the 1000 is definitely again more bright than the 800 for sure. Okay, so this will be my last test before we go outside. Okay, and one thing to note is all those bike lights is going to have a metal part in the front for heat dissipation. They get really hot. If you run this at 1000, don't use this as a handheld flashlight because it's going to be burning your hand. It's already like super hot at this moment. The 1000 or whatever when they run at the maximum, they get hot really quick. So make sure you're moving with this light turned at full brightness. But guess what? They thought about temperature and heat protection. So if you run this light at full brightness and it gets too hot, they have a heat protection circuit built into the QRL1000. If it gets too hot, it lowers the brightness to kind of low or medium. Once the temperature goes back to normal, they bring the brightness back up. So if your temperature stays hot and like, untouchable, they keep the light output low, so to lower the temperature. And then once the temperature goes back up to safe mode for this light to run, it goes back to full brightness. That's another thing that's really cool about the circuitry design of the QRL1000. I want to mention at the very end. So next, we're gonna go to the bike, take a look at the mount and how well this bike mounts onto the bike, and then we go do the ride. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next section. All right, it's late at night. Gonna do a test ride. My wife is gonna be following me behind, and the main light we're gonna be testing today is, if you can see it, hopefully, on my handlebar. On the left side is my, those two are, I think, most comparable. On the left side is the Cyclolite Metro 800 lumen light, and of course in the center mounted on the Garmin edge mount is the KOM Cycling 1000. Today full moon almost, so it's fairly visible, the road, but wait, we're gonna turn on the light and hopefully we can see how well the KOM 1000 is gonna cover the ground. But I think first let's turn on the Metro 800 because this is what I've been using. Okay. Obviously we want to compare them at the brightest setting. So this is what the Metro 800 is going to look like. Covers about, I think it actually provides a fairly decent coverage right in front of you. Okay. So the light, again, as we discussed, is rather diffused over here. So there's not a focal spot in the center. And the shadow you see on the right side is unfortunately being blocked by the KOM. but you can see how the light spreads on the left side on the brightest settings. And you can see further away that it is very nicely illuminating all the reflective objects on the road. So yeah, in terms of riding safety, I think the Metro 800 is going to provide a decent coverage for anybody that needs to ride in darkness. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the Metro and I'm going to turn on the KOM Cycling 1000. Okay, I'm going to get dark and let's turn on the KOM. And so let's get the light kind of adjusted. Again, there are 3 different levels, I think, for the way that I mounted the light. This is an ideal angle to set. Now, the obvious difference here is that you see there is a focused center spot where it's going to be illuminating the main area that you're going to be riding into, but it also provides a spread it out output on the side for the surrounding area. Now, keep in mind, this is the low setting, okay? The low setting is 300 lumens. We're gonna switch to medium. And this is 600 lumens setting. If we press one more time, we're gonna go into 1000 lumens, which is where we want to test this light at. Wow, all right. So, again, a great spot here. Same thing for this one. It's going to be illuminated really nicely on all the road signs. And also a very good, I guess, illuminated coverage for both the focused area in the center and also the spread out area. I can definitely see more light spread on this light. Hopefully later on we would be able to actually turn both lights on and just do a quick comparison and see what's going on. But it is, I can tell you right now, it is brighter. It provides a much further illumination in terms of the center area coverage. You can see it actually illuminates all the way back, a lot further, maybe twice as far as the Metro 800. Okay, so yeah, initial impression, again, very impressed. Now, this is not pitch black, but I can tell you the light's illumination ratings is probably as advertised if it's compared to 800, and it's brighter than the 800 lumen light. So this is the 1000, and let's see if we have some other different modes. All right, so this is low flashing, so the light goes into 300 lumen and then it gives a short burst of the flashing. If you riding areas where the oncoming traffic might not be able to notice you, you can probably use this mode. Okay, I think this is the SOS mode. I don't think anybody's going to use this. And the last one is the actual flashing mode. This is for daylight, for daytime riding. Okay. For the oncoming traffic notification. And again, at night, I think you'll be just keeping in at, I think for this light, I would be comfortable going for the 600 lumens. And again, it provides quite a long battery life at 600 lumens. So I'm really happy with the actual light output at this stage. But the 1000, yes, it is. I just feel safe with this light turned on. And a couple more things to note is that my bike is rather old. It's got a lot of cables on the front, so I was trying to mount it on the bottom of the Garmin Edge mount from the KOM Cycling, but I can't because the cables block the majority, the chunky light at the bottom part. So if you have a fully internal setup, you can mount this light top or bottom, whichever way you like. It should be a lot more versatile compared to if you mount this on an old bike with lots of cables. It's actually going to be blocking a lot of possibilities from using this light and attaching additional accessories. Okay, So just do a little bit longer ride, and then we can come back and give you guys a conclusion. But let's why don't we turn both lights on at the boost setting? Then we have 1800 lumens. Let's see. All right, let's go. So this is with both lights on at 1800 lumens, right? Remember I told you guys that the Metro saves the last setting. So whichever I turn it on, it's gonna be on the boost mode. Gonna turn it off and turn it on. Okay. And so really, how do I say it? I think the KOM is providing a better compromise compared to a fully diffused LED glass panel. So this one panel is fully diffused, so if I turn this light off, okay, it's diffused, it's not as bright, okay, let's see. It's not as bright when it's diffused. I mean, it covers the surrounding area nicely and evenly, but it doesn't cover as far. So if you need to run, if you need to see something further, okay, you might consider the KOM, because the KOM, again, as I said, is a compromise because it has a side area that's diffused, and it also has a central concentrated area. So if I turn this on and put it on the brightest, again, it is illuminating twice as far as the Metro, just from my visual judging. So I think I'm at this point very impressed with the KOM Cycling's 1000 headlight performance. Okay, and it does get, both lights gets rather kind of warm at this kind of weather. So right now it's about probably 60 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 65. They get warm, and as I mentioned, if you have this light always on 1000, make sure you're moving, because the heat spread, heat sink on the front of the head is gonna get pretty hot. So yeah, we're gonna probably ride back, and again, just to conclude with you guys, that I am very impressed with the KOM Cycling 1000. It does provide a very far illumination. Oh, there's a car coming. It provides a very far illumination on the center area. It provides a very good side coverage because of the diffused glasses surrounding the focusing area. And the cost, I would say, is more than reasonable, because for a 1000 lumen light that provides 3 hours of battery life at 1000 lumens, it's crazy. It's crazy bright, and it lasts crazy long. The Metro at 800, only 1 hour. Okay, it only lasts 1 hour. So the charging, USB-C, very convenient. Nowadays everybody have USB-C charging, so it's no issue at all. And just the fact that this light can have more stuff mounted on the top, or you can mount this light at the bottom of the Garmin Edge mount, and also have the Wahoo compatibility for both the top and the bottom, is really amazing. So this is a great integration for anybody that actually takes cycling seriously and needs to ride in the evening time. Okay, I'm just taking my neighborhood, evening stroll down here. But if you ride on the road for like hardcore commuting and stuff, again, this light is going to provide you a lot of options, and definitely keeps you safe in the evening time. Okay, is that the brightest setting?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the difference between 350 lumens and 1000 lumens. Okay. I would say more than twice, almost 3 times the light output compared to 350. I'm going to turn this light off and again show you guys the 800. Clear. And this is the 8000 lumen Metro. So while I'm showing you this, do keep in mind what kind of illumination you need. Do you need a fully diffused light? Do you want a hybrid? or do you want a really focused light that can throw really far but doesn't have much surrounding area coverage? So those all should be taken into consideration when you are choosing any kind of cycling light. All right, turn it off and put the 1000 lumen KOM cycling back on. You can see the difference between the dark area and the bright. Okay, and here we go. It feels a lot more safer. Crossing the big street. Go. Now we're getting into more areas that are kind of less illuminated. Hopefully it does show up in the video how well the illumination is on the KOM Cycling 1000 cycling bicycle headlight. If I'm pointing it downwards, this is the closest it would go. So at this stage, it almost feels like comparable when the light is shining right directly in front. But it's the difference when you actually start to tilt up that the difference becomes obvious. Right, so this area is a little darker. Thought there would be a good chance to illuminate this almost very dark area. Keep in mind, we are today having a full moon, so that will take away some of the strength of this light just a little bit, because it's able to illuminate almost everything in front of me and on the side. If I point this forward, it gives you a completely different view. This is like a high beam on the cars. So you have a high beam option if you want, but again, I don't really know why you would do this. Usually I would just point this downwards to fully cover everything in front of me. But overall, I'm very, very impressed by the KOM cycling, the 1000 lumen light. And again, it's very well executed, very easy to charge, and is extremely versatile because it's compatible with two of the most popular GPS units out there. So you can literally just mount this and a GPS on top and start riding. If you ride a lot in the evening, I think this is probably one of the best options that you can get, especially if you have a Garmin Edge or the Wahoo GPS that's integrated on your handlebar. All right, so hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, please do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching, and ride safe.